When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. It was Winston Churchill that said that about the nation, but I think it applies perfectly to individuals and the challenges we go through with dream stealers. You know, when I use that term dream stealers, most people think immediately of the negative people who tend to not appreciate your aspirations and goals and tend to try to pull you down. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about that inner enemy. I'm Beverly Lewis. I am an executive trainer and a business coach, and I want to talk to you about those dream stealers because there is something you can do about it. Most of us have those days where we end with regrets and kicking ourselves because we haven't made the type of progress that we expected to, and we fall into this trap of sabotaging ourselves. So real quickly today, I want to go over seven characteristics or seven perspectives that I think are very common dream stealers. If you're dealing with other ones, I certainly want to hear about those too. But the thing about identifying them is then you can kick them out. It's kind of like if a dirty old pig came running into your house, you wouldn't say, oh, gee, just make yourself at home. No way. You know, you would get it out, grab the broom, do whatever you had to do to shove that thing out of there. And it comes to the same thing with perspectives and attitudes that we deal with that need to go. So the first one I'll mention is something that I haven't dealt with, but I'll be honest about the ones that I have a challenge with. Perfectionism has never been a problem for me, and I laugh about it because I probably drive perfectionists crazy. I have testimony about that. But perfectionism, I've heard it called a form of self-abuse, which is pretty tough, but it's really listening to that harsh inner voice inside your head that criticizes and always is telling you you should have done something better. That's like having the worst boss in the world. And if that boss is in your head, you can fire them. The second one is comparison. Now, I'm going to call comparison what it really is. It's really envy. I've heard it said that envy is described as counting another's blessings rather than your own. Not a good thing. Number 3 is people pleasing. Now, this is one I know a lot about from personal experience, but people pleasing is really all about seeking validation from other people. So it's a one thing to seek confirmation and ask for input. It's another thing to constantly need validation. People who are pleasers tend to not have good boundaries, and they often, their time just gets hijacked out from under them because they're always saying yes to everything else that's important to everybody else, and perhaps not putting their own agenda in the rank of importance that it deserves. The fourth one is the imposter syndrome. Now, I teach a lot about this. It's actually known to be very common with both men and women, especially in high performers. Really, up to 92% of people who do amazing things with their lives suffer from this at one time or another. And it's that voice in your head that says you're going to be found out, you're a fraud, you're not enough. So don't know if you've dealt with that. The fifth one is distraction. Oh boy, I know a lot about this too, because some personality types are more prone to distraction than others. I call it the BSOB, the bright, shiny object syndrome. And it can be a form of sabotage for sure. Number 6 is the fear of change, or in other words, being stuck in your comfort zone. Now, this is a really common thing. They say that, change has become more comfortable for a lot of us in the recent years because of all that we've had to adjust to very quickly. But I call this comfort zone problem as being poor, which the acronym would be passing over opportunities repeatedly. It means when you miss saying yes to something because it feels risky or you're just not sure of yourself, and that can be a deterrent to you achieving your goals. The last one I'm going to mention today, I'm going to just call it self-sabotage in general. You can call it fear, you can call it blame, you can call it procrastination. We could lump a bunch of things together that maybe I haven't mentioned. If you've got something that you know needs to leave your head, you could put it under this category. I want to close with an acronym that I actually just heard recently that I thought was really interesting, because I know that we all suffer with blind spots, but this is an acronym for denial that says, don't even know I am lying. Because we lie to ourselves, and really that can be the worst sabotage of all, when we don't see these pigs, this dirty thinking that has set up sabotage in our own heads to stop us from moving forward. So I want to say the best is yet to come, because we can get rid of those enemies within. We've got enough to deal with on the outside, but they're a lot easier to deal with, those things external, than those that dog us internally. So I look forward to working with you, talking with you further about this, and be safe, stay well. Talk to you soon.